Welcome to Dominant Mets Nation. How are we all feeling? Our Mets right now are in the playoffs. If they ended today, we are one game ahead of those Atlanta Braves. And boy, oh boy, wouldn't it be nice to put the Braves out of their misery? Wouldn't it be nice? But you know what, folks? I think that's eventually going to happen. With 16 games left, it looks like that may just happen. So today we're going to talk about a couple interesting things. We have a very fun video. So I need you to like, subscribe. If you like videos like this, fun videos, let me know. Today what we're going to do is, since the Mets are off, we're going to rank our New York Mets players, and we're going to rank them based on how we think they're going to perform in the playoffs. You're going to see a chart come up very soon. We're going to have Superstar, All-Star, and then we're going to have a couple other fun categories that when the chart comes up, I will explain. First thing we're going to do is on the bottom of the screen, you see ESPN ranks Mets number 11. So ESPN just came out with a brand new ranking, and they ranked all the Major League Baseball teams. And what I do is not only do I look at our ranking, I look at what other teams came in front of us, which team came behind us. So right off the bat, what stood out to me is Atlanta came in number 12, right? Okay, that's fine. That seems pretty accurate. I think we're superior to Atlanta. But when I look at the top 10, it freaking infuriates me. First of all, you know what? We'll go through this together. Really quick exercise before we get to our fun game. Number 10, you have KC, Kansas City Royals at 80 and 67. I don't necessarily think we're worse than the Royals. I put us ahead of them. Diamondbacks. We beat the Diamondbacks more times this year. They're ahead of us. I know they've been hot, but we've been the hottest team in the second half of baseball. I think we're better than them. Astros haven't had the best year. They're 77 and 68. We have a better record. Why aren't we better than them? San Diego Padres. They have 2 more wins than us. They're ahead of us. I can understand them being a little ahead of us. We have Baltimore Orioles, Cleveland Guardians at number 5. Number 4, Milwaukee Brewers. Number 3, New York Yankees. Number 2, LA Dodgers. And the number 1 team, according to ESPN, is the team we're going to pummel this week, the Philadelphia Phillies. So again, if you agree with that, hit that like button, because I'm not afraid of the Phillies. We're gonna play the Phillies, and we're gonna play them tough like always. I know this year we don't have a winning record yet against the Phillies, but we have transformed this team. We are a different team than when we played the Phillies last. So it's going to be a fun series to watch. Very fun to watch. So let's get into the video right now, and let's basically have some fun on our day off. All right, so let's have a little fun. So as you can see on the screen, we have all our New York Mets players on the bottom of the screen, and what we are going to do is rank how we think our players will perform in the 2024 playoffs. Will they perform at superstar level, all-star level? Will they perform at don't suck levels, which basically is average? It means you don't really have to worry about them. Close your eyes, meaning you do have to worry about them. Or I suck, meaning they really shouldn't even be out there. Okay, you really have to worry about them. All right, so let's get into this, and let's start off like this. Let's go with, okay, we got Jose Butto first. Jose Butto, it has been a guy who has been, very, very consistent. He's been, and as you would say, Jerry Blevins on the SNY postgame show says he's in the circle of trust. Well, he's had a couple bad moments against San Fran, but all in all, a guy who's come up and really, come up in the minor leagues and really done a good job. I really have to put him in the don't suck category. Don't suck category. He's been really Mr. Reliable and one of those trustworthy pitchers. Okay, so our first man, Jose Butto, goes in the don't suck category. Okay, so next up, let's look at Mr. Edwin Diaz. Now, we haven't had the 2022 version of Edwin Diaz, but having an impactful closer in the playoffs, especially as we know in New York, can be transformational. We won 101 games when Diaz was at that high level, and you go back with dominant closers of the past, Mariano Rivera, how dominant were those Yankees? So we know that if Diaz gets his game right, I mean, it could really help us. But right now, until I see him perform at that elite level, all I could do at most is put him in the all-star category. If he ever gets back to that 22 version, the guy would be a superstar. Okay, JD Martinez, Mr. JD Martinez, and I got to say, early on, JD Martinez was part of the talk that really transformed our team. He was that veteran that guys like Mark Vientos were looking onto and taking his approach. He really had a great impact in the beginning of the year. But as of late, he really hasn't had that performance like he did in the beginning. He's hit a little better, but still, to be fair, hasn't been an all-star. Do I expect him to be an all-star in the playoffs? Maybe not on the field, but I think he's going to be a pro off the field, which will help the other guys. But the highest I can give him is in the don't suck category. And in don't suck category, don't sneeze at that. It's not a bad category. It's actually, that means you don't have to worry about our players. Okay, so let's go to Jose Quintana. And Quintana's a guy that, he's really been hit or miss on the season. I won't say you won't have to worry about him because he's a guy that you're not really sure what you're going to get. And in the playoffs, I think that uncertainty is even higher. In the last 7 games, Quintana is 2-3 with a 4.66 ERA. If you go back a little further, in the last 30 games, he's 8-9 with a 4.09 ERA. So, I mean, not that great. Not that great. He's got an over 4 ERA for the entire year. So he's a guy, really, what I would do is, he's a guy I kind of have to worry about. So I close my eyes when he's pitching. So we're going to put him in, sorry about that. We're going to put him in the close your eyes category. And I'm not saying that's a bad category either, but it's a category where you have to worry a bit more when the players are out there. So Jose Quintana, close your eyes. You could get something good. You could get something bad. Okay. And you know what? Let me get this guy out of the way. And let me just check one thing. But, this is a guy I'm going to just put in the I suck category. He's a guy who came over, and I actually like the trade. I actually really did like the trade for Brazoban because I thought, hey, a guy mid-90s. I thought, David Stearns really identified something. I was excited to get Brazoban over, but he just really hasn't performed at all. He really hasn't. I mean, at least to the level that I thought he would. I thought he would. So, in the last 30 games, in the last 7 games, he's pitched to a 4.5 ERA, a 4.5 ERA in the last 7 games, 1.75 whip, which is not good. It's not good. That's not what you need down the stretch. It's not what you need down the stretch. So I might be a little hard on him. You might want to put him in the close your eyes category. He might be in between that and I suck, but he's a guy right now that I don't have any confidence in. When you go on a run, you want this guy to step up. He hasn't stepped up one bit. Okay, so let's go to this guy next, and none other than Phil Maton. And Phil Maton, when he came here from Seattle in early July, I was like, I shrugged my shoulders. I'm like, a guy, maybe he'll eat up, a couple innings in the back of the bullpen. I never ever would have thought that number one, he would be the best relief pitcher that we picked up, number one. Number two, I never thought that we'd be using him in high leverage spots the way we, are. We saw a couple of days ago, he pitched when Diaz wasn't available in the ninth inning. He just didn't have it. He didn't have his control. He hit the first guy. Then he surrendered a double on an off-speed pitch that was up in the zone. If this guy's not locating, he doesn't throw the ball hard. If he's not locating, he's going to get hit. So I can't put him at the all-star level, but he's having a phenomenal season. So I'm going to put him at don't suck. Okay, so let's get to our next gentleman, and I'm going in no particular order here. I'm going with Starling Marte. Now, Starling Marte, the biggest knock on him is obviously his health. If he was a guy who was healthy, I could elevate him a bit. But I'm just worried that he's going to get an injury tomorrow. So, he's a guy that when he's on the bases, when he's in the outfield, when he's at the plate, you close your eyes. You have to worry. You can't not worry about Starling Marte. Even if he's performing, you have to worry. And he hasn't really played, at that all-star level on the flip side either. But he's a guy that I wholly, you think you have to worry. Now, let's go to a guy that might be a little bit controversial, but we're going to go with Brandon Nimmo, and we're going to go all-star. All-star. Okay, and I'll tell you why. He's a guy that despite not hitting the way he can, and, folks, remember, he's had that shoulder issue. He's still getting right. He is still, I believe his at-bats are good at bats. He's still walking. He's still being patient. And I think that approach in the players will translate. It will translate. And, we will see the version of Nimmo that we saw a few months ago, which was the all-star version. So I'm banking on that. And that's why I'm putting him in the all-star category. So Brandon Nimmo, don't let me down. Don't let me down, Nimmo. Okay. So, we got a lot of interesting guys left up here. I'm looking. Okay, who are we going to go to next? Let's go with Mr. Harrison Bader. Mr. Harrison Bader. Now, Harrison Bader, probably early on in the season, you would definitely not put him in the don't suck category. You might put him a little lower and close your eyes. He's, batting ninth, wasn't doing too well. But you know what? Harrison Bader in his role has been pretty serviceable. He's played high-level center field. He's been pretty decent. He's had decent pop at the end of the lineup. He's actually surprised me with how much pop he's provided this year. So in the limited role, and in the role he's in, I gotta say the guy doesn't suck. Really, as the number 9 hitter, if he was batting in the top of the order, I would evaluate him a little differently. But I'm evaluating each player with their specific role on the team. If he plays a Gold Glove center field, outfield in the playoffs, that is huge. Huge. Defense is huge in the playoffs. Huge. Okay. Speaking of, having a huge impact on the team, let's get this guy out the way. Mr. Jose Iglesias. And this is one of the guys, oh my God, who has done one of his biggest impact. And I know early on he was batting close to 400. Insane. Not to mention his Gold Glove defense and his relationship, his chemistry with Lindor. But what he provided in that clubhouse, that vibe, I think that was transformational. And this guy has meant so much to this New York Met club that, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to have those all-star numbers. But, frankly, his impact in the clubhouse is like an all-star. So if there was a position in between all-star and don't suck, I would actually elevate Jose Iglesias. I really would. But, he's a guy I don't have to worry about. So I'm going to put him in the don't suck category. Now, we still have a lot of guys left, a lot of talented guys left. And let's go with our next guy, Ryan Stanek. Okay, Ryan Stanek. I don't know why it switched. Okay, Ryan Stanek. And I was actually just looking at his numbers before because I wanted to be fair about it. In his last 7 games, Ryan Stanek has been better. In the last 7 games, he's pitched his last 7 games, he's pitched 7 innings with a 2.45 earner average. But in his past 15 games, it was a 6.57. So the fact of the matter is, Ryan still has a lot to prove. He really does have a lot to prove. And until he does prove that, I have to really worry. I have to worry. So I'm going to put him in the close your eyes category because right now, frankly, I have to close my eyes. Hopefully, as we know, Ryan Stanek had lower back spasms when he was traded over from the Mariners. I'm hoping that is something that has affected him in a negative way. Hopefully that is resolving itself over time. But as of now, don't suck category. Next guy, Jesse Winker. Jesse Winker, gotta put him in the don't suck category. Gotta put Jesse Winker in the don't suck category. Jesse Winker has meant so damn much to this team. I mean, because he's playing a role, he's playing it perfectly. He's best friends with like everybody on the team, so it helps the team chemistry. But he's already had multiple game winning hits, home runs. He's a guy that's doing exactly what he needs to do on this team. So he's definitely a guy, in my opinion. I think he's going to have a good playoffs. When the Mets get to the playoffs, I think he's a guy that you don't have to worry about. Let's go to one of our top guns. And, this may be something you don't agree with, but we're going to go with close your eyes for Francisco Alvarez. And I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Francisco Alvarez, besides hitting that home run that, yesterday, he basically hit a big home run yesterday, and it put the game out of reach against the Blue Jays. If you notice, that pitch was up in the strike zone. It was a high fastball. That's about the only pitch I've seen Alvarez really handle. It's the only so I worry. I close my eyes when he's on offense, but if I look at it defensively, if this makes sense, maybe I'm being hard on him. Maybe I should put him in the don't suck category, because if I look at defensively, the pitchers love throwing to Alvarez. In fact, you know what? I had all this written down. This one I'm going to change because I'm disagreeing with myself as I'm saying this. Just because of his impact on the pitching staff, I've changed it. I put him in the don't suck category because the pitchers love throwing to him. The ERA throwing to Alvarez is in the mid twos. So his impact on the game, it's got to counterbalance. So I'm going to put, just because of his impact with the pitching, in the don't suck category. So that was a change on the fly right there. Okay, so let's go to our next candidate, and let's look at this. Lindor. So Lindor has essentially been Mr. Clutch. Mr. Clutch. So we're going to put Mr. Clutch, and we're going to put him in the superstar category, because quite frankly, this whole year he has been a superstar. From yesterday's game, hitting that clutch home run and ending that no-hitter. And the way, I've commented with a couple of people around, the scowl kind of he had, the angriness. And I've seen this, when I used to play ball in the past, and there was a pitcher dominating against us, there would be one guy who just smokes a ball off them, and it gets the team going. Because before that, when the pitcher is rolling, there's buzzing in the offense dugout saying, "Oh my God, this guy's nasty. Oh my God, did you see that pitch?" Sometimes you give way too much credit to the opposing pitcher. Francisco Lindor hit that home run like, this guy's not that great. Yeah, he was pitching a good game. It's in the 9th inning. Come on, guys, let's go. And he ended up spurning the rest of the team, getting everybody on his back. And I thought that was phenomenal. And I think he's going to do that in the playoffs as well, both offensively and defensively. I think he's the number 3 or 4 highest ranked WAR person in all of MLB. I believe it's Judge, Soto, and then him. if I remember right. But he's in the top 3 or 4. Okay, so next guy, let's go with. All right, let me get this guy out of the way. This guy, I don't really know. This is the guy who came over from Boston, Alvarez. He's a guy who's more or less going to be a pinch runner. He's got to prove something to me. I don't know too much about him. I know that in the minors, he's had a pretty decent year: 18 home runs, 77 RBIs. I believe close to 20 stolen bases. Had some speed, but you're gonna have to prove it on the major league level, especially these last couple big games. So that's where I'm gonna put you for now. Okay, Tyrone Taylor. He's another guy in the role he's been. He's been very solid the entire year. So you got to put him in don't suck. And I think that's very fair for him. Very fair. DJ Stewart. DJ Stewart is a guy that I think a lot of fans have had enough of. I think he's had his chance. You wipe your hands from guys like that. Last year he had a little run, but it's enough with DJ Stewart. You got to put him in the I suck category for now. Okay. Oops. Mr. McGill. Mr. McGill had that great game the other day. I don't care. Got to put him in the close your eyes category because there's so much to worry about with McGill, and he's hit or miss. He's a guy that his work ethic has been questioned. I don't know about that. I know he's got decent stuff. That's the thing. He's got decent stuff. If he can somehow put it together, but if he's in the playoffs, how could you not worry? You got to close your eyes. So we got a couple guys left. We got Pete Alonso, we got Vientos, Peterson, a couple really good guys left. So let's see if anybody else can make it to superstar. Let's get the youngs at it. Actually, you know what? Let's go to Torrens. Torrens, the backup catcher. I'm going to put him in the close your eyes category for a couple reasons. Number one, he's not an elite offensive guy, right? So he's kind of a liability at the plate, right? Has he hit okay? Yeah, he's hit okay. Defensively, just like Alvarez, I said the pitchers threw to him and their ERA when throwing to Alvarez is mid-2s. It's almost the opposite for Torrens. Their ERA is in the mid-4s. For Alvarez, when he's in the game, the team has a great winning percentage. With Torrens it's not that high. So he's a guy I would put him in the close your eyes category. Now we're going to go these two guys, Danny Young and where he is, Alex Young. Okay, Alex Young here, Danny Young here. Okay, those two guys are our soft throwing lefties. They've both been very serviceable. Alex Young, we got off waivers. Danny Young, he's been serviceable as well. Both guys, they don't suck. I haven't had to worry about them. So, we'll put them in the don't suck. Reed Garrett, when he's been healthy, same thing. Don't suck category. Don't suck category. Okay, here we go. Okay, actually, you know what? I was about to say, we got some 4 nice guys. Before we do that, let me take care of this. All right, Adam Ottavino. I don't want to see him anymore. I don't want to see him. These guys at the bottom, I don't want to see in the playoffs. I worry. Okay, so now we got 4 guys on the bottom here. 4 very, very, very talented Mets. And they could fall all over these charts. They could be anywhere. So we're going to go with Peterson first. David Peterson had a very shaky outing in his last start. But I'm going to say this. Just like Manaea, Peterson has gone through a transformation. I believe his last start was just a blip, and I'm going to go with what I've seen the whole second half of the year. The guy has pitched like an all-star. I don't expect it to stop when the playoffs come. I expect it to keep on rolling. So I keep him, and I put him in the all-star category. Now, number 2, Mark Vientos. Same thing. All-star. This guy has been a godsend this year, a godsend. He has been responsible for many different wins. He had 2 home runs the other day, one of them in the 10th inning. I mean, this guy was on pace. I did it like last week. He was on pace. If he played 600 at bats, he was on pace for 43 home runs, 111 RBIs, back close to 300. I mean, phenomenal numbers for a guy who didn't even start the year in the majors. Great job, Mr. Mark Vientos. Definitely has the potential to be an all-star. Now, we got 2 guys left, Sean Manaea and Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso, I have no choice for this. I have no choice. I have to put Pete Alonso in the close your eyes category, which close your eyes means you have to worry. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to fail, but more along the lines, you have to worry. He's been a guy that has killed so many rallies. He has been a strikeout king. He's been a guy that is that pitch 2 feet outside. He's in love with it. He's in love with that pitch. And in the middle of your lineup, number 4 guy with that lack of discipline, and he's only got 31 home runs. I hear everything about 40 home runs all the time. He's not even close right now. Not even close. So Pete Alonso right now has been a big liability, and it's not like I can compensate it, but like Albers, I could say, oh, on the defensive end he evens it out. No, I mean he's been okay, but he's not a Gold Glove guy. He doesn't have that type of other impact on defense. So I got to put him, to be fair, in the close your eyes category. Okay. Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea in the playoffs. In the playoffs, this guy is going to, I believe, have a major impact. And that's why I'm going to put him at superstar level. Superstar level. I believe he's going to continue to be elite. I believe he's going to continue to lead our team. I think these two guys. It's so indicative. What Lindor does to the offense is the same impact I feel Manaea does to the pitching staff. That's how much he means. I believe he's had an impact on Peterson. He's been so much more elite than I would have expected. I thought he was going to be a guy that, he's going to be decent, maybe a mid-3 ERA, but he has been so much more than that. So this is my rankings. What do you think? Superstar, we got Lindor, Manaea. All-star potential, Diaz, Nimmo, Peterson, Vientos. Don't suck category. We got, a bunch of people, but, it's not to say that these guys, this is actually a good category. Both of these aren't bad categories. This one, you have to worry. Don't suck, you don't have to worry. If you like this video and want more videos like this, please subscribe. It just gives me an idea about what people like and what people don't like. So that's fair. And I apologize. This video ran a little long, but you could see it took longer with the chart. So let me close this out. Stop this.